All right. So we are going to talk about drafting our essay. Okay. And that's the goal today. So I want to show you an example. I want to show you what's in your essay. Remember, this is about your short story. So this is about the monkey's paw. Thank you, ma'am. The lottery, or whatever other short story that you chose from Common Lit. So here's what we have. First of all, what do you guys think? What makes a great essay? So take a look over here. What are some of these things that it talks about? What are you guys used to seeing? So raise your hand. Let me know. What are some things that we've already talked about, especially with our Laws of Life essays that we did? What are some things that we know makes a strong essay? Yes, dear. Yeah, well, yeah, we got to have our theme, and that is right here. That is our claim or our thesis statement. If you remember, a thesis is that last sentence of your intro. What are some other things that we need? What are those things that like cause your paragraphs to flow well, that follow a comma or that right before a comma? And you can have like a big old list of them. You do need text evidence, yes. You need to make sure that you include the author's name and the paragraph number, right? You need good transition words, okay? You'll need to be able to explain your evidence, okay? You'll need structure, and that we're going to give you an outline. Actually, you have it right now behind your rubric. That is a good structure to follow, okay? All right, so let's talk about setting up a plan, okay? And hopefully today you get started on your essay. Maybe if there we go. So here is a sample intro, okay? Here is a sample intro. Let's talk about what makes it strong. Ray Bradbury, who's that? The author of All Summer in a Day. I probably should have that in there, shouldn't I? Note to self. Ray Bradbury's dystopian story, All Summer in a Day, takes place on Venus, a planet where it rains all of the time. Margot, a recent arrival on Venus, remembers what the other children cannot. She remembers the warmth of the sun and how beautiful sunshine can be. Margot is grieving the loss of the sun. The other children are jealous that she even remembers. One lesson that the story suggests is that when people can't get over their own jealousy and pain, they sometimes wind up hurting others. So take a second, turn and talk. What makes this intro strong? Talk to the people around you. So we said, you guys all said, the first thing that you noticed was this right here. This very last sentence, that is my thesis statement. This is what my essay is going to be about. It includes the theme, okay? The other thing that we have up here, about here, Margot to remembers, that's a summary. That tells me what the story's about, okay? If you're writing an essay about a short story, your reader should probably know what the story's about. And this very first sentence is a good way to hook your reader. It includes the author's name, it includes the story, but it also is a very, very, very enticing, like it talks about it raining all the time. I'm encouraged to want to keep going, right? Okay, so there's my intro. My intro is a hook, a summary, and my thesis, which includes the theme. Let's take a look at a sample, maybe. There it is. Let's take a look at a sample body paragraph. What makes this strong? So I'm going to go ahead and read this out loud, and then I'll give you guys a second to touch base on what makes this strong. From the very beginning, the details of the story show the children's pain. So clearly, this body paragraph talks about where the theme shows up where? In the beginning. They are painfully jealous because Margot has seen the sun and they have not. Bradbury describes how Margot, this is a quote, Margot stood apart from them, from these children who could never remember a time when there wasn't rain and rain and rain. They were all 9 years old, and if there had been a day 7 years ago when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. So that's the evidence that says they have not seen the sun, but Margot has. This line shows that Margot, it turns out, lived on Earth once, and she has seen the sun. The other children have not, and she makes their world of dreary rain even more painful to them. The children were struggling with their jealousy and her experiences, and eventually turned mean towards Margot. So turn and talk. What makes this body paragraph a good body paragraph? Okay, so what makes this strong? First of all, how does it start? What kind of phrase? Transition word. It starts with a transition word. What are some other good things that make this paragraph strong? Good text evidence. And my explanation has super strong words, and it allows me to really pull. If you guys look, the text evidence is only this part, right? The rest of it is all my words. That's what you need. You don't want a body paragraph of just text evidence, okay? All right. So here's this picture again, and you guys actually have that on the back of your rubric. We are going to keep looking at sample essays, but it's your turn to start drafting here in a second after we go over the outline, and you're just going to write, okay? So I'm going to show you what the outline is that you have in front of you. This is your rubric. It's out of 12 points, but we're multiplying it by 1.5, so it's actually 18 mastery points. It's a big old grade. It's a lot bigger than your vocab quizzes, okay? But we're working on this all week, and it's going to be awesome, so don't stress. You guys are going to do great with this. 3 pieces of textual evidence is required. It's going to be a good format. Again, you're going to have an intro. You're going to follow this outline, and it's going to be great. And then you have to make sure that your grammar and spelling and all that is good stuff. Okay, here are your requirements down here. You have a good intro. You have transitional words and phrases. You have an appropriate conclusion that reflects with your thesis. Okay, you have 3 pieces of evidence from the short story. You explain your evidence, and you have direct quotes with you cite it. And if you feel like you're comfortable with paraphrasing, feel free to paraphrase. Okay, but for sure have a direct quote. Make sure that you include author's craft. This is what we talked about on Thursday in class. You all wrote a paragraph with it. Hint, hint, just reuse not use it, but like go back, look at it, see what you wrote, and kind of just fiddle with it and add it, okay? So here's your outline. So flip your rubric over, it's on the back. Your intro, we just looked at a sample. Hook, grab your reader. Then write a summary, not a long summary, just a quick, here's what the story's about. And then your thesis, and your thesis is going to include your theme. Then we move on. Now, I need everybody to pay attention to this. You can have 2 body paragraphs. You can have 3 body paragraphs. It is up to you, but you need to talk about how the theme is shown throughout your short story. So thank you, ma'am, is a lot shorter than monkey's paw. So think about where that theme is shown. Thank you, ma'am, it's going to be a lot harder to show a theme from beginning, middle, and end when it's not as long of a story as monkey's paw, okay, or whatever other story you have. So make sure that you understand how many body paragraphs you're going to need. Do I need to show it here it is at the beginning and the end, or do I need to show it here it is at the beginning, middle, and end, okay? All right, so each body paragraph, one of them, you need to mention author's craft. That is, did the author use long sentences? Did the author use dialogue? Did the author use figurative language? What choices did the author use, and how word choices? What choices did the author use, and how does that show you the theme? And then again, 3 pieces of evidence. If you have 3 body paragraphs, you can have a piece of evidence per body paragraph. If you only have 2 body paragraphs, you got to get creative. One of them is going to have 2. Okay. And then your conclusion, revisiting your hook. You're going to look at your thesis. You're going to rephrase it. Do not say it word for word. And then you're going to have a so what statement at the end. Do you guys remember what a so what statement is? It's that last sentence. That's what I call the mic drop. And you're like, bam, I'm out, right? That's your so what statement. There's your diagram that you guys all have access to. Don't forget to use transition words and proofread your writing, okay? So if you get on Schoology, it is in the writing folder. In the literary essay, there is a spot for you to draft.